hang out there, perfect my homebrew, and decide on my next move from there. But it was then I sort of looked at, and social media is one of the good things about it, is it's an opportunity for me to see what people think of the shows and stuff. And people are like, can't wait for the next series. When's your next stuff coming out? And I realised how much people, after 20 years, people have grown up watching the show. And I was like, it's not right for me to just go, okay, well, that was great, and let it kind of fade away.
You feel like you owe it to the fans a bit.
I do, and I owe it. And I wanted to do a season where I wasn't going into the season going, man, I have to make this work, to make it rate, so I can keep my sponsors, so the TV network stays interested. I've come into filming this season with going, I have nothing left to prove. I'm just going to have a real good time shooting this last season. So I did it for myself as well. And then last week, just putting a post on social media saying, well, look, hey, we're wrapping up the TV show. A number of people say that I'm crying. I don't know how to break it to my kids. It's like, hang on, I've not died. I'm still going to be releasing content. Yeah. It's just not going to be on. It's not going to be on telly. So, yeah, it is a sort of surreal thing in that. But I certainly don't see the obituary side or the. It doesn't feel like an ending.
Okay, well, no, but end of an era in a way. But but I feel like you're probably getting out and pivoting at a good time, because I think that the medium of TV, free-to-air TV especially, is dying, and now there's a way you can do the content, release it on your own sort of digital platform, and it can still reach the people, even a greater audience.
Yeah, so we started a television production company, me and my mate Keza, 22 years ago, and we I liked Madfish TV, and Kieran liked Tight Lines Television, and we so to sort it out, we wrote the names on a bits of paper and we pulled it out, and our company became Tight Lines Television, which I ended up. Kieran, after a few years, went off on another career path, and I stuck with Tight Lines Television. 8 years ago, I looked at that name and it had the word television in it, and I went to the company's office and I changed it to Tight Lines Media, because I could see 8 years ago the writing was on the wall for TV, and that's when we started Ultimate Fishing TV, which is our own platform where we could post our content straight to the audience. But when you've got TV contracts, they get rights to everything first, and we couldn't release any of that content. So TV was still getting all of our energy and all of our best content, but that platform was slowly chipping away in the background. And then if I got time, I'd go out and I'd shoot something specifically for our online, for our social media, and it just grew and grew, and it's still growing by 4,000 followers or subscribers a week.
Wow, what's your YouTube numbers?
YouTube is not great. About 200,000, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting here with, I just clicked over 3,000 this week, so to me that sounds great.
Yeah. We are I still like, we're mid-production on this last TV series, and honestly, all my energy is going into that to try and make it the best TV series I've ever made.
And after 2 decades of doing this, you deserved this freedom and flexibility to do things on your own terms. But let's go all the way back, because it's such a fascinating story, the Matt Watson story. So you're sort of raised in like a fishing environment, family of commercial fishers. Yep. So that's what you always sort of wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then you have like a fist fight at a Christmas Day cricket match?
Yeah, well, my fist didn't really get used because I got knocked out pretty quick.
So how old are you at the time?
I was 17.
17, yeah, so your uncle gave you a hiding or something?
Oh, hit me with a cricket bat.
Cricket? Yeah. Like accidentally, or
no.
struck you with a...
So, yeah, let me establish this a little bit better.
We're painting a very interesting picture of the Watson family as a broader group.
Yeah. So we're a very competitive family, big family.
Oh, God.
And we've got this uncanny thing where we've got an even split of left and right-handers amongst the blokes. So on Christmas Day, that's how the teams would be divided, lefties versus righties. And we'd do volleyball, touch rugby and backyard cricket. And we, the righties, we'd done pretty well in the touch rugby, which ended up being more like a game of league by the end of it. We lost the volleyball, and it came down to the backyard cricket, and it came down to the last ball. And you imagine hot summer's day, everyone's had a few tins on Christmas Day, and it was me bowling to my Uncle Ian, and he owns he owned the commercial fishing boats. I'd worked all my school holidays and weekends for him since I was 14, and I'd built up enough sea hours to get my skipper's ticket. So my plan was, basically come straight out of school and go and work full time for my uncle, running one of his boats. I had told Mum I was going to go to uni. She wanted me to be the only male in my family not to be a commercial fisherman. I think she wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor or something, and pinned all her hopes on me because my brother was a dropkick. So, sorry, Benny, was a joke. So I remember feeling so happy that running into that Christmas, feeling my last exam is behind me. I'm never going to open another book in my life. I'm just, my life's going to be out in the ocean catching fish. And but it all come undone with one bowl of a cricket ball. So I knew my Uncle Ian couldn't play a fast, straight Yorker. For those that don't know, the Yorker's a high-speed delivery aimed at the toes, and he was hopeless if you pitched it up fast. So I come in all the way back for the clothesline and coming off the long run up, and I ripped it in as hard as I could. Maybe because I had a few beers that came out the hand wrong, and it was a beamer, a full toss that just got him bock right in the middle of the head, like sconed him. And because it was the last ball, and we'd already had a big argument about no balls in backyard cricket, and the bloody lefties had said, nah, there's no balls in backyard cricket. So we win, right? And so I'm high-fiving my cousins and everything. I could see my uncle running at me with the bat, like holding it up like he was going to hit me. And I thought, nah, he won't hit me. But he did. He did scone me with a cricket bat.
Whereabouts? Like over the arm? Over the body? The head?
I got my arm up and it kind of glanced off my shoulder, which was a good thing. And it got me in the jaw. And of course, anyone that's been whacked good in the jaw knows. And I thought, shit, I can feel my legs going here. And then the next thing I know, oh, bloody hell, I've fallen over. My legs are gone. And then the next thing I noticed is my dad, who was also a lefty. But you see, at the moment my uncle hit me with a cricket bat, the teams kind of split. We went back to tribal family roots.
So left and right's out.
Yeah, left and right's out. Now it was,
It's war.
Yeah, so the old man come and punched bloody Uncle Ian in the face. I was just like,
oh my God, it's an all-in brawl.
It was, yeah. Auntie Glennis had the hose out, trying to hose it. She did. Yeah, it was a horrendous scene for a Christmas day, family gatherings, and I saw my commercial fishing career disappear as my uncle did a burnout off up the road in his ute. His last parting shot, he threw a coffee cup at my ute on the way past, and I thought, oh man, I guess I'm not going to be a fisherman. But I had another uncle, or my auntie Glennis's boyfriend at the time, was a roofer, and he said, oh, you want to come work for me? And I said, yeah, sweet. I didn't even know what he did.
It was the same day?
Same day.
One door closes, another door opens.
And that's how I became a roofer.
Because I've heard this story before, the Uncle Ian one. How's the relationship now? How does he feel
good.
about you telling the yarn? Does he love it or embarrassed?
Yeah, I don't know. We've never really spoken about it. In a lot of ways, because it's such a good story, right? And a lot of ways, I feel bad about it because he's a good guy, right? He's a great guy, and he was my hero growing up. He was the greatest mullet fisherman in Weymouth. He's done incredibly well for himself, but I don't know what it was. If you get hit with the ball, you're in a rage, and he probably immediately regretted it. Oh yeah, absolutely. But we're from that area. You guys don't talk about that sort of shit. We just see each other next Christmas. The very next time I saw him was the very next Christmas day.
and downgraded to a tennis ball for safety?
No. We see my mum banned all sports. All sports were banned for about 4 years, and then when it finally came back, and it was actually back at Uncle Steve and Auntie Glennis's place again, we said, come on, look, we're not going to get into a punch-up again, let us play backyard cricket. And we'd been going about 5 minutes, and I jokingly just gestured to throw the ball at my Uncle Ian, and my mum pulled the stumps out of the ground, and we got another 2 years. We got another ban. So it wasn't on, but I do in a lot of ways feel bad because he's not a violent man or anything like that. It was it was and I don't bear any ill will at all.
That's a great story. Yeah. You're painting a picture of your family. Is it a Bogan family?
No.
Would you say it's a Bogan family?
South Auckland? Yeah, I don't know. Because it's my family. You're in it. They're your family, right?
Yeah.
We're from all of us from South Auckland. So Wayne.
By the way, I don't mean bogan as a derogatory term.
Oh, no. I would just say Kiwi, working class, hard working family, and everyone in my family's done really well through hard work. So I always had that as not just with my mum and dad, but aunties and uncles. I just great role models for people that just got up every day and worked hard. Knew how to party hard.
Yeah, work hard, play hard.
Play hard, yeah. And it was the mantra then. Like literally, I think it was my generation that started saying that, but it was our parents that we saw doing that. They were just going to work and working hard, never complaining about it. And maybe to be fair, probably playing, in the light of 2023, probably playing a bit too hard. That was like the peak of Kiwi binge drinking culture era. I feel anyway.
Yeah, 'cause you and I are about the same age, and it was definitely that generation where eating is cheating. And
No souls in the hydraulics, mate. It was all of that macho shit.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, there's another term which sounds derogatory, almost like the word bogan. Kiwi battler. I feel like you're like a Kiwi battler. Sounds like someone that's has nothing but bad luck after bad luck. But I sort of frame it as differently. Someone that's just grinds and works fucking hard and gets what they're after.
That's a wonderful compliment. Like I don't see that derogatory at all.
Yeah.
I see someone that works hard, whatever their circumstance. Whether they manage to get ahead or not, hopefully they do. Kiwi battler, I just see that as a really kind thing to say about somebody.
Oh, well, that's cool because you're a guy, and we'll get into the whole Matt Watson story. But you've in spite of every obstacle that's coming your way, you've defied the odds and you've made your own luck.
Yeah,
like in a big way.
Yeah. I mean, I get told I'm lucky all the time, and it used to really annoy my wife. We'd go out somewhere and people would come up for a photo or to say g'day or whatever, and they'd say, "Oh man, you're so lucky. You got the best job in the world. You're so lucky." And Kaylene would be like, "Why don't you tell them about how much bloody stress you're under and all that?" And I'm like, "No, that's if they think that I'm out fishing every day and I've got the best life and I do have a good life. Like I'm not complaining about it at all. That means that I'm portraying that dream, and if they're watching that going, man, that guy's got it easy or got it good, well, I'm doing a good job. So I would, I wouldn't want to break anyone's illusion. And if I turn around and said to them, actually, mate, I'm just about gone broke. I don't know where I'm going to find the money for the next series, and all of this sort of stuff. That would kind of ruin that.
Yeah, because you're sort of like an unlikely TV star in that TV's always been one of these industries where there's someone sitting at the top that either gives you a tick or a cross and decides if you're going to be on the TV or not going to be on the TV. And you've just sort of like penetrated your way through in spite of that gatekeeper. It's remarkable, mate.
Yeah, and I've butted heads with a few gatekeepers and there is no way around them. Like if they decide that, and that's why I've had to switch networks, and sometimes it felt like the higher the show rated, when we were just winning like all genres, like head to head with everyone, we were just rating the pants off of things. A lot of the people that were working at the TV networks were people that had their own ideas and dreams about TV shows that failed. And I only found out this in sort of retrospect. And I don't know whether it was professional jealousy. They're like, who's this guy that was a roofer who's never been to media school, never done anything? Who does he think he is coming in here and getting ratings like that? And I had the words quoted to me from a TV exec, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. Ratings aren't everything, Matt. I'm kind of like, well, if we're not rating, ratings are everything and you're gone.
Yeah, they live and die by the ratings. They get them every fucking day.
So we had to bounce around networks, and I was constantly trying to convince people that it's worthwhile. But the main thing that allowed us to keep going was that they weren't paying us. It was no cost. So it was no cost, no risk. And our sponsors bore that risk. We're going to fund the series. And I know people think they're sponsors, but for me, honestly, ITM Fishing Show, it's got the name ITM in it, and it would be just the nothing if it wasn't for them. And I'm not here on your show to try and plug ITM, but
as an independent creator, you can plug them all the fuck you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm well aware of the situation you get. Like they come on in the early days when you've got nothing.
That's
they
right.
come on with good faith, and maybe because they like you as a person. And then 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the track, it's easy for one of their competitors to come on and try and counter offer when you've already established. But they're your day ones.
Yeah, exactly. And so. Not just ITM, a lot of the sponsors that we had at day one, I get hit up, particularly fishermen. Fishermen are passionate about their gear and everything they use, and a lot of them will look to me and they'll like, and I'll get hit up at a boat show or even at a pub or something. Okay, Matt, if you weren't sponsored by Stabbycraft, what boat would you actually have? And and what wagon would you be towing it with? What tackle would you use? And I say to them, you know what? Before I'd even thought of the idea of a TV show, I had a Stabbycraft boat, I had a Toyota, I had Shimano tackle, I had Furunaga, I had all of those brands, and I paid full retail for them, and I've still got them to this day. And yes, all their competitors have come along. Some have offered me some crazy money, but I'm a loyal person, and don't get me wrong, if their gear was rubbish, it would be a different story. But I was that enthusiast wanting to do my research and buy the best gear, and I felt I did, and I've stuck with them and they've stuck with me, and that has been a massive part of the success of the show. Loyalty can be hard for some people, I think, in terms of commercial terms, when you're being offered a lot of money. In the long term it pays off, because it's not only, let's say opposition to Stabbycraft comes along and they offer me a bunch of money, and I go, yeah, I'll take it, that's a good bunch of money. And one day I'm saying I love these Stabbycraft boats, next day I'm saying
Haynes Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying that doesn't just affect Stabbycraft, that affects all of my sponsors, because they rely on the end user getting my honest opinion. Yeah, that and all of a sudden they're like, hang on, Matt, weren't you saying this? Maybe you're just saying what you're being paid to say. And I've always prided myself on, if one of our sponsors bring out a product that I don't think's that good, I'll try it. I'll just say, look, you're best not for me to use this on the show, because I won't plug it if I don't think it's good. And sometimes they'll even go back and tweak it with my recommendations, which is incredibly flattering. Yeah. So to anyone that's doing anything in any kind of business, I would say if you're really in it for the long haul, be loyal. You might think in the short term that, geez, this isn't going to pay off, but it will.
Okay, so let's go back. So there's the punch up with Uncle Ian, and then another uncle offers you a job as a roofer.
Yeah.
So you become a roofer. This is where you have the testicle injury?
Yeah, the epiphany, as I call it.
Right. So how long had you been roofing at this point?
I'd been roofing at that point, so this would have been, I would have been roofing for almost 6 years, 5 or 6 years. And
so this is your lot in life, you think? This is...
Well,
or did you still have, were you missing the ocean?
I missed the ocean. So I'd become more of a recreation. I always recreationally fished even when I was doing my commercial fishing with the family. But once the commercial fishing door closed, it opened up this thing called weekends. Whereas, I could work all week as a roofer, and then on the weekend, I'd hook my boat on and I would tow it, and I could go up to Hohora, up north one weekend to chase marlin. I'd be down Whakatane the next weekend chasing tuna. It'd be great. I was just going on these weekend adventures with my mates, and I was just like, man, this is awesome. But I knew I was going to get back to fishing. I had to. It was in me. It was in my blood. I wanted to be a fisherman. And my way of being a fisherman again was I was going to be the hardest roof tiler ever. I was going to squirrel all my money away, and one day I was going to buy a big game fishing boat. I was going to move to the Bay of Islands. I was going to take people out on fishing charters. And that was my way of getting back to this full-time dream of being on the ocean every day. And that was exactly what I was doing. And then the more successful the roofing business got, the less fishing I was doing, because I found myself, I got up to 11 staff at one stage, and I was working weekends, and I'd worked, I know, must have been close to 3 months straight. It was in March anyway, and it was a most awesome day. Perfect. It was a Sunday. Perfect day for fishing. And of course I wanted to be out fishing, but Fletcher Construction needed me to put more roofs on, so, and I had the contract, so I was doing that, and I was on the roof Only one of my workers had turned up because it was a Sunday, young guys, you know. And I was thinking about what it would be like to be out on the ocean, and that's because my mates had rang me just before I went up the ladder and said, mate, it is the calmest day we've ever seen across the Manukau Bar. You could water ski across here, and they're saying there's guys on the radio hooking up on Marlin, and I was like, man, I wish I was out there. I was just looking around, there was not a breath of wind, and I was setting the roof out, and I was walking backwards, and I was thinking about being on the ocean. And maybe I should have been thinking about where I was stepping, because I stepped over the gutter, one leg either side of the gutter, and it was a sharp metal edge on the inside, and wearing the old rugby short shorts don't afford much protection.